All right, welcome back to Getting Sober, again. My name is Jay and I will not drink this weekend. How about you? Comment down below. But first, if you care about your own sobriety journey as much as we do, we have hundreds of videos on the topics of sobriety and self-improvement. So make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. All right, let's get started. Now I know you might be thinking to yourself, well, Jay, don't you run a sobriety channel? Aren't you already not gonna be drinking this weekend? And the answer is yes. But I'll remind you that I'm also a human being and I'm also here with you being sober. Now, many of you are new to this channel and you may not know that I started this channel 5 years ago, but only 45 days after starting the channel with hope and motivation and good intentions, I lacked something that we all need in early sobriety, and that's direction. And the reason I make these videos is for those of you that don't have a sober friend or a sober family member or anybody that you feel like that you could just talk to about taking a break from alcohol. So the point of today's video is just to give you a little bit of encouragement, some motivation, some inspiration to do something different this weekend besides drinking alcohol. Especially for those of you that are still struggling to get sober in the first place, or maybe you've already started your sobriety journey and you're still in the early stages of dealing with stress, dealing with boredom, and dealing with challenging yourself to start checking off all those items on your long to-do list. You know, that to-do list of all the stuff that you said that you do someday. And I always like to remind you that someday isn't a day of the week. And sobriety might be one of those things that you keep telling yourself that you'll do someday, like finishing reading those books, or start eating better, or start going for those walks after dinner, or start online therapy, or start cleaning out the garage, the basement, or the attic. Whatever it is that you feel like you have to do, here's your reminder that it's not something that you have to do, it's something that you get to do. You get to take control of your physical health. You get to take control of your mental health. You get to not only feed your body, but also your mind. You get to maintain all those things that you work so hard to get in the first place, like your car, like your home, like your yard, your pets, your friends, and all your material possessions. And we always like talking about choosing better habits. We always like to talk about making more better decisions today than the worst decisions that you made yesterday. To just be 1% better today than you were yesterday. That way you keep chipping away at that old outdated version of yourself that you no longer want to be. And just like your phone has to update, just like your computer needs to update, you also need to update. And keep an open mind and an open heart to the possibility that what you've been doing got you here in the first place. And it's gonna take something else, maybe something new, to get you to where you'd rather be instead. To keep taking another step in the direction where you actually wanna be, so that you can look back week after week or weekend after weekend and see that you're actually making progress. Now, what do we always say? Practice makes progress. You are practicing sobriety. Just like you're practicing eating better and practicing making a routine out of getting more exercise. We're all imperfect and we all struggle with motivation. We all struggle every other day just to get the ball rolling, and sometimes every single day to get the ball rolling. Here's an example. 100 times out of 100 times, I never want to exercise, but I remind myself that if I just start doing it, that 5 minutes later, I'll probably still not want to do it. But that 5 minutes after that, I'll start to build momentum and I'll start to feel like less of a loser. I'll start to feel more energized and more productive. I'll feel more accomplished and more proud of myself, AKA better mental health. And I know that every single one of you out there relates to that exact feeling. Sometimes all we have to do is start. Like start doing the dishes or start doing our laundry or actually putting those shoes on so that way we can actually take that walk around the block. And we all know that one good decision typically leads to what? Another good decision, that's right. Just like one bad decision typically leads to more bad decisions. Sometimes all we have to do is just to decide that today's gonna be the day and that there is no other time than right now. Tomorrow doesn't exist yet. Next week is next week. You're gonna be tired and unmotivated later, just like you're probably tired and unmotivated right now. You're always gonna need another cup of coffee. You're always gonna need a nap. You're always gonna wake up in the morning and feel like you just need another 15 minutes in bed. Our morning showers could be longer and our commute to work could be shorter, but we push through. We try harder. We remember that it's easier to avoid temptation than it is to resist temptation. And for some of you, that might translate to getting all the alcohol out of your house, but not by drinking it. For you, that also might translate to not catching up with those friends this weekend, or maybe setting your intentions and telling them that you intend to go for a hike, or intend to go for a bike ride, or to tidy up around the house, or to spend time with your family and actually make that time count. We all know what it feels like to be behind in life, and we especially all know what it feels like to feel guilty. Guilty for being the ones that are supposed to handle all these responsibilities, but then end up tasking it to tomorrow you instead. How about this familiar scenario? How many times have you said, this will be the last weekend that I drink? But then what happens? Monday morning you wake up, tired, hungover, miserable, self-sabotaged by weekend you, looking for any temporary relief and some sort of way out. I get it, I've been there. And then feeling even more overwhelmed, more anxiety, more depressed, and less likely to say no to the cravings of caving in, of giving in, of taking the easy path, of looking for the escape from your own life, instead of embracing the fact that time is not on our sides, and that our bad habits have continued to lead us in the direction to our end, which may come sooner than we'd like. We always talk about the concept of listening to our inner coach. Your inner coach is that little voice inside that's been telling you that it's time to make a change, that the training that you need and the training that you've been putting yourself through are not in line with your purpose. Your inner coach is your conscience. Your conscience that's fully aware that you've binge snacked out of guilt just to feel better, or binge watched an entire season of nonsense just to pass the time. Your inner coach that's fully aware that you chose to get drunk while leaving your house, your finances, and your relationships a mess. And that same inner coach is the one that's been on your case every time that you made the excuse that you don't have time to improve your physical health, your mental health, your finances, your poor diet and lack of exercise, because you waste the first quarter of your days hungover and the last quarter of your evenings getting wasted. And I definitely don't say any of this to make you feel bad. I'm only saying this to let you know that I know exactly how you feel. I did the same thing. I kept ignoring my inner coach and I kept drinking just to quiet that voice. When you feel like that voice inside your head is just screaming at you, begging you to make a change, to do something different, to stop going through the motions, to stop that negative momentum, and to start rowing to the shores of safety instead of continuing to be carried away by the tide that's taking you further away from where you belong. I get it. I know what it's like to feel crippled by the fear of the great unknown, to feel like you're lost at sea without a compass, to wonder where to go or who to talk to or how to stay busy or what to do instead, and how to deal with strong alcohol cravings every single weekend. To feel like, what's the point of even one day sober when I've been binge drinking every day for the last 20 years? The point is that every chapter has to end for a new chapter to begin. And it doesn't matter how many chapters ended with pain, with trauma, with embarrassment, with an empty wallet, with people mad at you from ruining a holiday or a vacation. It doesn't matter how many chapters ended with being broken up with losing your job, with somebody dying, and generally just feeling stuck and helpless. Because your story's not over. Repeat after me. My story isn't over. There will be an end, but it's not today. And we hope that it's not tomorrow either. Every single one of us is gonna have to have a first Friday sober, and a first weekend sober, a first full week sober, a first sober birthday, 4th of July, and New Year's Eve. And one of the main reasons why I make these videos is to normalize the process of sobriety, to remind you that a sobriety detour or a relapse doesn't have to be the end of your sobriety journey. It doesn't matter how many times that we fall, what matters is how many times we get back up, and that we learn how not to fall the exact same way next time. Throughout every single one of the videos that I've created on this channel are all the tools that you need to reframe your mind. Most people that come to this community watch a video every single day, and the real ones leave a comment every single time they do. If you're every single one of us out there who, as soon as they clock out on Friday, they're preconditioned to the routine of going to the bar or going to the liquor store, the grocery store, or the gas station, we all get it. We all understand exactly where you're at. We all have to experience the first holiday or cookout without drinking. We all went through the same thing that you're going through right now, And as of the making of this video, I think we have close to 800 videos here on this channel. And if you've become a member of this channel, you can also access all of the 2-hour live streams that we did over the past 2 years. And because this channel is all about self-improvement, I want to remind you about my favorite app that I use for learning. Now, some of you may know that I have a touch of ADHD, which for me is like my multitasking superpower, but on the flip side of that, I'm also terrible at reading books. And on top of that, I don't really have the attention span to really listen to long audiobooks either. So the problem is when I read books, my brain just sees an ocean of text. And then I just start skimming around the page, trying to find the answers like a third grader that's trying to cheat on a take-home test. So basically what I'm trying to say is that my reading comprehension is terrible. So I found this app about 4 years ago. It's called Blinkist, like blinking with your eye, Blinkist. I also put a link to that app in the video description down below. What the Blinkist app does is it takes an entire audiobook and it condenses it down to a 15-minute summary divided into small bite-sized chapters, and it turns a whole book into a mini audiobook of the most important parts of that book. So for those of you that like binging, like you binge watch our videos, click the link in the top corner of the screen and you can try the Blinkist app for free for 7 days. It's great to listen to on the way to work or maybe on the way home from work, or what I like to do is I like to listen along before bed like a bedtime story. Again, the app is called Blinkist and there's a link in the video description down below. So tell us what you're doing this weekend by leaving us a comment in the comment section down below. And if you want to binge watch another one of our amazing videos, click the link in the top corner of the screen. And with that, I want to wish you good luck this weekend on your self-improvement journey, and I will see you in the next video.
If you want to see another one of our videos, click here.